Hey guys, Ranchin here, bringing on StarCraft commentary. This is going to be the final match, final set, 8th match between SK Telecom T1 and KT Rolster. We got BeSt facing up against Flash. I am not surprised by this matchup. BeSt facing up against Flash. BeSt, of course, they knew it had to be Flash, so it was a question between which one of their guys they had to send out. And they pretty much had quite a few options, honestly. But obviously, they feel BeSt is one of the best, if not the best, PvT players out there. Definitely one of the best. And really strong against Terran, so they definitely feel he has a chance to beat Flash. And they might have something to do with the map choices as well. Maybe a map they didn't feel was too suitable for TvT, but hey, we're going to see how it goes. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Map in question is Icarus, one of the new maps. We only got like 2 maps, I think. 2 or 3 maps from the old season. So this is a 4-player map. And up at the 12 o'clock position playing as red, of course, Terran. We're going to have Flash representing KT. And the bottom here at the 6 o'clock position playing in pink as protoss is going to be BeSt representing T1. Yes, this is a 4-player map, and I think of all the maps we've seen so far, this one is one of the most standard. You got your main high ground, you got your ramp, small ramp downwards, got your natural, and from your natural you got 2 entrances. One is really far off and a small bridge, then you got a slightly wider choke outside your nat, but there is a rather wide area to defend if you try to push out too far. There's also a third close by, which is a bit hard to... It could be a little bit hard to take because it's not as close to your base as you might have want, but it has a rather small entrance point. So holding it, it actually has 2 chokes, so a bridge and a ramp, so holding it shouldn't be too difficult once you get it. It's really not too hard. So you got 3 bases, all of them with gas. That shouldn't be too hard to take. Middle, that's, you know, fairly open, but you got a lot of bridges across. That could become an important factor, but the bridges seem like it's more for some sudden maneuvers. So I think, honestly, Protoss could have a good time on this map simply because of multiple maneuverability options, but Terran could have a good time because they seem to have a lot of ways to just hunker down, play defensive, turtle up, hold position, and utilize tanks the way they're meant to be utilized. Seems like Flash is going to go for the barracks up top. Probably going to float that off since it's at the edge of his main. I think there's a good chance he might go for 1 Rex into Expo. I've seen that happening, even against Protoss. Going for the 1 barracks into command center. But he might go factory first. It's a question of whether he is putting up his gas right now, so he might actually decide to put up his factory first. We're going to see what he does decide to go there. So we might see factory into quick Expo on the opposite side. Don't see any gateway for BeSt, so it seems like he's wanting to... Is there a gateway? Yep, okay, never mind, there is a gateway. I'm just blind or not paying attention. Being immensely unprofessional. No simulator yet, so it seems like he's going to want a quick, fast Expo. And Flash has... Is that actually a wall? I mean, that supply depot there... Yeah, probably just coming up. Seems like he's not even going to bother to try to get in, so that supply depot at that auto location seems like it is a wall. That's kind of weird. One of the advantages, I guess, in StarCraft 2 that you always know if you have a wall or not. In StarCraft 1, it's always, I think he has a wall? No, impossible. Sometimes it just seems like something that actually acts like a wall is impossible. And that honestly doesn't look like a wall off in any way, shape, or form. But that probe didn't get inside, so I guess, I don't know. Funky map adjustment stuff. Initial Zealots now out there for BeSt. He did put down his natural Expo on the opposite side. We do see the factory being put up for Flash. And we're going to see what actually tries to expand off of that. He's only produced 1 Marine, so it's not like he's going to... doesn't seem like he's going to go for an early push. So it probably is going to play economic. But look at those spaces. Seriously, huge space between the supply depots. Yeah, I mean, sure, I thought with a ramp like that, it's not too huge. You should be able to wall it off, but I didn't know you wall it off like that. That's kind of funky. SCV in there. Again, like just going around, spotting 7 core. I bet some Protoss players, or just players, will... protest. Like, seriously, that's a wall off? How the hell is that a wall off? That it does in no way, shape, or form look like a wall off. I mean, really, I'm looking at that. It seems like there needs to be another supply depot in there. It's almost looks big enough to let a Dragoon through, for crying out loud. But Flash just has his SCV in there sitting around. I'm like, hey, gonna get 1 free shot in the probe. They're gonna go to the natural Expo while the second gateway comes down alongside that. A similar initial vulture out there as well. Gonna try to do a little bit of damage. And with no Dragoons out there yet, I think this Vulture might do... I haven't seen a single Dragoon out there yet, but I think the Starman score has been down there for sufficient time, so Dragoon should be able to come out and prevent this Vulture from doing too much damage. Do see the Command Center being built inside the main of Flash. He's just going to float it off. Play safe. No need with that wall off to try to play risky. Just make sure you're doing what needs to be done. But there you go. No Dragoon, so that Vulture forces all those pros off that natural expo. And, yeah. Does not manage to get off the ramp, but still forcing all those probes off, picking one off, but effectively stopping the usage of the National Expo for a little while for BeSt. That's already a pretty nice start for Flash. He's playing safe. He's playing Flash. And BeSt is going to try to keep up economically. I'm thinking he's going to want to expand fairly quickly. I think BeSt, it's pretty much the style I've seen BeSt play best. That sounds odd when I say it like that, but that's pretty much when he plays a fast expansionist style, when he basically tries to take an expo when you wouldn't expect him to take an expo. He has, he has enough economy right now to survive and have a strong army, but instead he just picks up an additional base all the time. I've seen him use that play style, especially on some slightly older maps where that play style went really well for him, such as Colosseum. I think that was a map that he utilized that kind of play style very well, maps all over the place. And with corners the way it is, it's not too hard to defend. You really could just blockade with a pylon and cannons and make sure there's not going to be any heavy Vulture harassment. So if you manage to defend the corner bases like that, if Flash wants to go for them and take them out, he really is just going to have to commit. And the problem is with the Terran player is that when you go for heavy Terran mech, as you do against Protoss, you want to make sure you commit to the right place, because if you commit badly, then you're going to find yourself surrounded, you find yourself pincered in, and Arbiters, Zealots, and Dragoons on you in a bad position, and you just start losing your tanks, all your Vultures just not in the right position to defend you, and you really want to be careful of that. Quite a few Dragoons out there just running around, making sure there's everything out there. There was the probe that got killed off. I'm wondering whether that was actually in position to pick up a base Flash, I'm sorry. Meanwhile, has his natural expansion up and running, second gas, all good, factories good to go, more on the way. Third gateway just now out there for BeSt. I'm wondering whether he might decide to transition, going for the pylons that are quite a large distance between, but it seems like they are giving him what he needs. Has an observatory on the way because he hasn't had a scout inside of Flash's base this entire time. But Flash being Flash, he's not going to utilize that in any weird way. He is simply put going to play standard, even though his opponent does not have a scout. And the funny thing is, often enough his opponents feel, well, Flash is Flash. He's not going to go for something funky. I can get my observatory later on and see what's going on without being too worried. Against other players, that would be a problem, being predictable like that. But this is Flash, and Flash has the mechanics to back it up, and already putting down a third command center wants to completely out macro BeSt here, and BeSt, Flash knows that his opponent is at his best. Seriously, BeSt at his best. That just sounds so weird. But BeSt is at his best, as odd as the pun is, when he's macroing. His heavy macro style, expanding like crazy, getting a huge army up. He just has to make sure he doesn't make the mistake of just throwing a huge number of Dragoons straight into massive tank fire. Then he's going to find himself in trouble. Seems like Flash is going to want to float his commander all the way to the upper right and has a science facility on the way. So worrying about his upgrades and wondering whether he's going to already has a few Goliaths out there, wondering whether he's already going to get himself ready for possible future Arbiter play. Do see two pylons there at the lower left in position. No cannons up yet for him, simply because he doesn't have a forge, I think. Citadel Ladoon and a forge, there we go, come up. As soon as that forge comes up, he's going to be able to cannon up that lower left-hand base and prevent any sort of attacks from coming in and penetrating that side, unless there are siege tanks in tow. But his base is up. Ooh, Observer, I think it was a scan inside the main. Observer gets picked off, but still overall, I think BeSt got most of the information he needs. Now just maneuvering around a little bit with his Dragoons. Doesn't feel the need, I think, to defend that lower left-hand anymore, although I think he still has some Dragoons there. But the problem here, BeSt does not want to push out. He does not want to push into Flash. He's just going to crash like sea onto the rocks, He's just going to crash in and die to tank fire, to sustain tank fire by Flash. He also has Vultures at the front, has Goliaths to support as well, has Mines. Everything he needs to play defensive. What BeSt needs to do is deny expansions and do some harassment. He needs to start going for Arbiters, and he needs to utilize them well, and possibly try to catch Flash in a bad position, because Flash is pushing out bit by bit, and you want to hold the middle. You don't want to run in. His Dragoons are coming a little bit closer from what I see on the minimap, and Flash is, of course,